Hi everybody, it's demo day here at Always in Stitches, and today we're working with one of my favorite gadgets of all time, and that's the Yo-Yo Maker. Clover's Yo-Yo Maker. It comes in 5 sizes. There's a really big jumbo-y one that's huge, about the size of a saucer. And we're out of it right now because we've been demoing it at Quilt Market, and it's like nowhere to be found. So we've got them on back order. As soon as they come, we'll do something real fun with those, okay? But here are the 4 sizes I'm going to be using today. The yellow one, the orange one, the green one, and the little turquoise one, which is so cute. Look at this little baby pillow I made. I made this pillow 30 years ago before there were any yo-yo makers, and I just made them the old traditional way. You know, you cut a circle, you kind of do a little whip stitch around, not a whip stitch, gathering stitch around it, and you gather them up, and voila, you've got a little yo-yo. When these came out, I thought, they're not going to sell because, like, why do you need a gadget when you can just cut a circle out and do it yourself? Well, what I found out once I saw one in action, and of course, you know me, I got to have every gadget there is in town, it makes the yo-yo really nice and symmetrical. And then look at the gathers. They're even. So you don't have this, like what I have, some in, some out, some tight, some not tight. I mean, and some of them are even lopsided. This one's not even perfectly round. They're kind of lopsided a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I love this pillow. I made this pillow 30 years ago. It is still relevant today. It is the most precious little pillow, and it just fits in. It fits into the spring decor really, really well. So that's why I brought it today. I thought you might would get a fun look at that. But you know, it was made wonky because that's the way we did it back then. With the Yo-Yo Maker, it is so much more fun. First of all, you got a gadget because I love a gadget. So today what I thought I would show you is I developed a yo-yo carrot. Look at it! Isn't it so cute? I just love my yo-yo carrots. I didn't think this was my original idea because I thought, oh, surely somebody has done this before, a yo-yo carrot. I mean, they've got Christmas trees. Look, there's your Christmas tree. But no, I couldn't find it anywhere on Pinterest. Nowhere. So I'm taking full credit for this yo-yo carrot. I think it's adorable. And you don't need a lot of equipment for it. Of course, you need all 4 sizes of the yo-yo makers. So there's those. You need a pair of fabric cutting scissors. You need a pair of long nose pliers, and you need a wire cutter. You need some 18 gauge wire that you can get at the hobby store. Did you get a good picture of that? You need some good hand quilting thread, heavy hand quilting thread. Because you don't want this. A lot of people use dental floss. Did you know that?
No,
when they make yo-yos? Yeah. A lot of people use dental floss. But if it's going to get washed or used a lot, I would use this hand quilting thread. You're going to need some glue. I'm in love with this liquid stitch. We have it here at the store. And if you don't know about these little things here that hold your glue down so that it's always ready.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love this for my glue. I have one at my sewing station. I have one at my cross stitch I mean, I love these things. They're everywhere in my house. But I've always got one for my glue because I want my glue to be ready when I take that lid off. And if you're sitting it on like this, then it has to flow.
And there's that eensy beensy teeny weensy amount at the bottom. You have to wait.
Yeah,
all day.
All day for it to come down. So if you put it upside down, it's all ready to go. Okay? So you guys can come on in if you want to, closer so you can see what I'm doing.
Stand behind Peter.
Okay, stand behind Peter. That's probably the safest place.
You can stand on the side. You won't be in the film.
My needle is just an embroidery needle that has a pretty good size eye because I'm using this thicker thread, so I want to be able, and it has a sharp point, so any kind of embroidery needle would do. So I think I'll make, today I'll make this green one so it won't take me as long. And there's some things about the yo-yo maker I want you to notice. First of all, I want you to notice these little nubs. See those? This one only has 3. And they serve a couple purposes. If you are doing something that you fussy cut and you want it to be in the same spot every time, these can be some reference points for you on your fabric when you're lining your fabric up. When I buy my yo-yo makers, I always take a magic marker and I mark one of those nubs on the top. That gives me a place to start and a place to end, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone around and around because I'm a talker. And so I was just talking, and then, you know, all of a sudden I've done 3 or 4 rounds, and that's ridiculous. So I had to give myself a little starting and stopping point. But the most important reason for those little nubs is they correspond with these little raised up lines on the disc of the yo-yo maker. So when you put it in your when you put your fabric in, you've got to match up those little or those nubs with the line. Okay? So this is how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my disc and I'm going to lay it down face down, and so it's flat, okay? And I'm going to put my fabric down face down, so the wrong side is up. The wrong side is, and I'm going to feel around for one of those little nubs, and I can feel one, there's right there. And so I'm going to take my second part of my yo-yo maker, and I'm going to line it up, and it'll snap in place. I hope they heard that snap, because that was, you heard it all the way over there, didn't you? So that lets me know that it's in place. Now, if I'm going to do hundreds of these, I might cut me a bunch of squares, but I never cut circles because it's hard to get them centered. Okay? If you cut squares, you've got a little more wiggle room. So always cut yourself a square before you start. This is just a 1/4 yard of fabric that I had from making my samples. Now I'm going to take my fabric cutting scissors and I'm just going to give myself a little bit of extra while I cut around. I don't want to cut right next to the yo-yo maker because this is going to be my seam allowance. So I'm going to cut just right up next to it, maybe about 1/8 of an inch away or 1/4 of an inch away, however big you want it. Okay? I'm going to get my thread and I'm going to put the biggest, chunkiest knot I can get. Not one of those little petite quilting knots, but a big old chunky knot. And this is probably the most important thing, other than getting those lines lined up with your knobs, is I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to press the fabric down to the back of the yo-yo maker, okay? And I'm going to come from the back to the front. And can you see, Peter, can they see this little smiley face? Yes or no?
Wait.
Well, if they're looking, they can.
Hold on. Okay, it's in focus now.
Okay, it's focused. Okay, there's a smiley face and then a little tongue. So a smiley face, there's a dimple, there's the tongue. You want to see it? There's the smiley face, and there's the little tongue. See that? Okay, so I want to go in the dimples of that smile. So I'm going to come up from the back right next to my marking spot that I made for myself. And I'm going to pull through. And then I'm going to go over to my other dimple, and now my fabric is going to slide under my tongue. See that? If my thread is in between my smiles, I've done it wrong. So now I'm going to go to the second one and do it again. Come up from the back, go down in the front, and all the time I'm folding this fabric back because that's my seam allowance. So I want that. I don't want the raw edge showing when I'm done. So I am pushing that under. Can they see that real good, what I'm doing there? I'm just using that finger, and each time I'm just pushing that fabric down. And I'm going to go all the way around doing this. And you can see if you're watching TV or you're doing something other than paying attention, you could just go around and around and around. So that's why that little dot that I've put there really, really helps. So this is a very portable thing you can do. It's lots and lots of fun. There's a million things you can do with yo-yos. I've made candy corn with yo-yos. One time I was at an antique store and they had the most beautiful all white yo-yos bedspread on a full-size bed with a red comforter underneath it. It was Christmas time. It was stunning. It was just stunning. Oh, so pretty. So get on Pinterest and look at all the things you can do with yo-yos. It's just amazing. They make flowers with them. They just do all kinds of things with them. You know, decorate pillows. And it's just let your imagination run with you. Okay, so now I'm back down to my dot. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat that first smile, but I don't want to pierce my thread. So I'm trying to find where that knot is that I first went into. Here it is. And I don't want to pierce it again. I want to go in a new hole. And so over here, I don't want to pierce that thread. I just want to go to a new hole. And so then that completes my stitching. And now I'm just going to stick my thumb in the center and pop that out. This DC is my initials so that if I'm in a class with a bunch of people who have yo-yos, I know which one is mine. So now, all I have to do is I have to pull the thread, and as I'm pulling, I'm cupping that in. And you can already see how the gathers are exactly the same size? That makes your yo-yo so much prettier and so much more symmetrical. Now, instead of pulling with the knot, see, there's my knot. Instead of pulling on the side that has the knot, I'm going to pull on the side that is opposite the knot. And then that gathers everything up. See that? It gathers it up. Then I'm going to take my needle and just right in one of those folds, I'm just going to get a little bitty piece of that fabric fold, and I'm going to pull, and I have this little loop, and I'm going to go from back to front twice. And then that's a surgical knot, and that's not going to come out. I'm going to take my scissors, and I can cut pretty close to that. And if you're afraid that your thread is going to show, go ahead and use matching thread. My thread doesn't usually end up showing. And then all I do is I manipulate it a little bit, and there I have the perfect little yo-yo. Isn't that sweet? And they're the same time after time after time because you're using the Yo-Yo Maker. So to make my carrot, I've done, let me get the Yo-Yo Makers back out. Okay, I've made 5 of the yellow, 4 of the orange, 3 of the green, and 1 of the little baby. This little baby one is so adorable. I love it. So, it looks like this. Look at how tiny that look. Look how tiny that is. Now, wouldn't that be just sweet stacked on top of that with a little button on there? Oh, that'd be so cute on a little girl's collar.
We need yo-yo snowmans now.
Oh, we do. Well, there are yo-yo snowmans out there. A lot of those. So,
it's really
did I talk
today.
to you about my wire? I think I did. It was 18 gauge. So all I did was, when I got my wire, it looks like this. And I took my needle nose pliers And the end, I just made a little swirly. I just took the end of the wire and I just kind of bent it around so it has a little swirly. And then I just fed the yo-yos onto the wire. So you can see here, there's my little curly. And then I just, on this end, I took my wire cutters and I made it really sharp. Can you see how sharp that is? I made that really sharp. So that when I go to feed them on, it's just like a needle. That thing just pierces right through. It may catch a thread, so you may have to like go up and down a couple times. But look, it just feeds right on there. Isn't that adorable? So you feed on the correct amount. And then when you get to the end, and of course I don't have the baby one on yet, because when I get to the end, I'm going to make sure that's straight, I'm going to take my needle nose pliers again after I cut off a little piece, and I'm going to make a swirly again. I'm just going to bring this and make another swirly. And I kind of pinch it together. But because you don't want to see that, you don't want to see it, then I just take my handy dandy glue, and this has got a little hole in it, and I just glue it on the end. Isn't that adorable? I just think that is so cute. And then I get some, I just got a floral bouquet, a little greenery bouquet at the Hobby Lobby, and I tore it all apart, and I just cut it real close right there, and I just glued it in. And that gives you a carrot. It is so cute. I just love these. I'm going to make hundreds of them. I don't know who I'm going to give them to, but it'll be cute in an Easter basket for your friend that sews. Isn't that so adorable? Now, if you come into the shop and watch the demo, you get a coupon for $5 off a $25 purchase. It has to be used today, but you online people, if you can't come, you can get the supplies from our online store. But if you're nearby and you want to come in, I'll give you a coupon, okay? So next Friday, wonder what we're going to do. It's going to be exciting, whatever it is. Bye.